I was watching some video about how to make music on FL Studio. I downloaded the FL Studio quite a long time ago. I haven't used FL Studio in a while since I don't really know how to make music, but today that might change. You know why? That's because we are going to try to make a beat with Damage 2. Uh, I downloaded Damage 2 um, just a couple months ago, where I placed it in Contact Portable. So I was just watching a tutorial on a video where it just introduces us to the basics of FL Studio. For example, we can place this is a piano roll. This is where we make our beats. So it's supposed to have where the sounds are supposed to be have to be in Contact Portable, and that makes it and that has to be in the piano roll of FL Studio. Maybe. Let's see. Here it is. So if you see, there's more intensity in Contact 2. I mean Damage 2 than right here. So how do we fix it? You see, I was investigating this phenomenon when I was starting to make use of this application. What you need to do is adjust the velocity adjust the velocity of this beat. So if we adjust the velocity to max, it has to sound more intense, like in Damage 2. See, it works. It works. And if we drag it down, it makes it more calm. So we're watching a tutorial on how to make a beat on FL Studio. Shout out to Shansi. I was just watching this tutorial just before I started recording on OBS Studio.
Out something for at least 4 bars, which ends at 5, but a lot of producers, when they're working with things, they usually do it for 8 bars, just so it has some more flow to it. So I'm gonna cut this, I'm going to go like this, and here. You can even change how the lines are cut inside the bar. For example, half step, so you can even go faster by doing this. Now, we're gonna add a clap. Like this one. Usually claps are in the middle of the bar, so here I'm actually going to extend this, and I'm going to hold Control to highlight it, hold Shift, boom.
Which is one of the questions I have. How do you do this with Contact? How do you do this with? I tried to changing the beats on this table. It just doesn't work at all. For example, when I want to change. Well, I've tried to change it in the channel rack. If you make another table where Contact is, just let me find it. Here it is. So let's delete all of this. And then let's make another from Contact Portable. I don't know if this method that I'm using it's right, but it works for me. So maybe we just have to try this out my way. Now the problem I have is that my imagination is limited, which it means I don't know how to create a beat in the first place. When you are trying to create a beat, you look you look at why do you want to make this bit in the first place? Well, I want to make this bit because I want to make, you know, s- soundtracks for one of my series, one of a lot of series, or just to know how to make those beats on FL Studio. Since why do I have FL Studio in my PC if I ain't even going to use it? Let's open the piano roll here, and as you see, there's this little gray thing right here. It indicates the beat that we made before opening this Contact Portable number 2. So there's a lot of soundtracks in Kratos soundtrack where no, there's a lot of sounds on Kratos soundtrack that really they're really catchy. It's on. Let me see. It's I think it's the number 1 of the saga. Just one. No, it's God of War. God of War 1 soundtrack.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
If you hear closely, you can conclude that some of the beats used on God of War 1, they usually start like dun 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 dun, which is which I don't know what it advocates. It has this chaotic energy because it's God of War, right? So you have to make it chaotic for some god like that.
Your greatest challenger.
I started to think like the first soundtrack I made, it will be like Kratos like soundtracks, because it will start something like and then we'll see what it has to offer after we make this beat, after we try to make this beat actually. Today is 8 Saturday to 2025. Let's open the piano roll. So it doesn't have that intensity on most of those soundtracks. No. It has to be spaced, so I thought this would be more like a learning process, because it's interesting to learn new things in your life. You're always learning something when you are walking around. Was this supposed to divide those notes in? Let me see. I see it in the tutorial.
Follow that same thing
I
until it
see
hits
it.
8 bars. We're gonna hit loop.
So it divides their
this
So
line,
it divides
fill
something, but I
in
don't
to just
remember.
add
So
one
we're
hand.
gonna
I'm
have to
gonna
go
right-click
back.
this, go to piano roll. On the piano roll, I'm actually going to just add one hand, and I'm gonna follow this line here. Fill in these right here. And I'm gonna highlight this, and I'm gonna hold Control, press B, and I'm gonna lay out something for at least 4 bars, which ends at 5. But a lot of producers, when they're working with things, they usually do it for 8 bars, just so I had some more flow to it. So I'm gonna cut this. I'm going to go like this, and go here. You can even change how the lines are cut inside the bar.
Okay, but where's that in the first place? Where do we find it? Oh, here it is. But what does that mean? I'm not really sure what to do. I'm not really sure what to choose in the first place. Let's go with 1/4. One third. Oh, this is. It's more spaced. And then we Control V. No, I'm trying to select this one. Control V. It doesn't sound like I want it to. Which is kind of frustrating in the first try. Has to be something like that in the piano roll. Ah, I have to find it again. There it is. What? What difference does it make? Now we're getting closer of what I want. Just a little bit more, and then we're done. And then one more. Now it has to be more spaced. So instead of being one, no, this is one. One, two, three. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. No, one, two, three. Now, let's go to Rex and may go to context 64, number 2, and then we create the sound of the Rex or whatever it is. Then it will make, it's supposed to make a catchy beat. It will be something like that, or from what I imagine. Since I know I'm thinking it, but it's hard to recreate. This also happens when you're drawing. So, what I'm trying to understand when drawing and making these things is, how do I make those thoughts come to life? This is a pretty difficult question for me. You know why? Because I just don't seem to understand how do people with imagination can recreate things, like think of characters, think of objects in their minds and recreate them in a specific order they want it into life. I'm not a really imaginative person. Imaginative. G4. No, but this is those. All of this are C. How do I expand this? Oh, like this? Okay. This is getting from what expected. 1, 2. No, it's 1. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finally, 2, 3. No. Well, now we have a pinpoint. Okay, so we started with booms and then we started with snares. So this is how this is supposed to be. It has to begin with then the snares have to be so it creates a beat like and it will be, and this is supposed to convey quite a chaotic environment where the character is supposed to be in danger or supposed to be like hunting someone or hunting an animal. It's kind of in my imagination on how is this sound. Well, how is this music supposed to be? So let's see. Now we have to space those a little bit more. This also has to be spaced. Now this is what I wanted. Let's hear it. Now how do we edit how do we edit here instead of the number 2? This is quite okay, let's place it on the playlist. What? What did I do? Okay, instead of ending on 2, let's end it right here. Now how do we duplicate it? No, it doesn't sound good. Let's get part 2, number 2. Okay, so I messed up. There we go. So now it's supposed to have a catchy beat that I wanted to make in the first place. You see, I think it's quite favorable with that you learn music theory. Well, I don't even know if this is music theory, so learning it by doing the basics and trying to convey those imaginative beats in your head to real life. It's kind of an exercise to your mind. The teacher, the art teacher is placing a lot of different creative activities on every day. Instead, on every day, like to Monday and Saturday. But oh, you know what? We do it every day of the week. So that kind of helps us to be more creative, or whatever the teacher says. I kind of believe her. You know why? Because you're helping your mind to create those patterns, to create pattern recognition. I don't know if it's pattern recognition. So you might find it difficult in the first days, and then you might be better at working with this imagination you have, and then you might want to try to make it live. This is actually a bit I was kind of dreaming on like several days, so I started to think, so why not bring it to FL Studio? And now here we are, and I think it's kind of a progress, since I'm not a really creative person on making things go live. So for me, this is kind of a big step for me. We create it, even if it's shit. It's actually It's actually helpful for you. So let's listen again. Maybe we should raise the velocity of those. I don't like the first ones. You know why? Because they don't have that intensity that there are on the second contact application. So let's raise their velocity on the contact channel rack. Let's open the piano roll and raise their velocity. Let's see if this is okay. And then if we don't like the maximum velocity of the first drums, then we can lower it. So what did we manage here? Well, what I managed here is to create a song, create a beat coming from my mind, which is not a thing I was it was not a thing I was expecting for, because I have really little self-confidence in myself. Anyways, I think that's all for today.